Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Today's Monday, July 24th. It is 6:23 right now. Market's gonna open let's see, in about 7 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. It's got a couple things here to update. And we should be good to go. Solid. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. Should be good. All right, looks like people are on their way in right now. So I'll get a few moments for people to join and we will get started shortly. Perfect. Well, let's get a few more moments for people to make their way in. And we will get started shortly. So, all right, guys. Morning, everybody. Today is Monday, July 24th. Happy Monday, everybody. Hopefully, everyone had a great weekend. 6:25 right now. Market's going to open up shortly. So, I did some testing over the weekend. Did a lot of testing actually, and I kind of figured out a way how to apply the momentum pullback scalp on the 5-minute. I started using the ATR. It works a lot better because we can do a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio because I'm using the ATR to identify what the average true range is. If you guys are not familiar with the ATR, that basically identifies and tells you what's the average range within the past set amount of candles. So the default number for that is 14 candles. So like basically if I'm on the 1 minute here, and you guys can see the ATR down here says 5, that means that 5 points is the average true range. So like on this next candle, it's estimated for it to move about 5 points, which is 50 pips. And then right here on the 5-minute, you can see the ATR over here says 11 points, right? So like the next 5-minute candle is estimated to move about 11 points. So when pulling the momentum pullback scalp, this helps us identify, where we can trade for a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. I've used the ATR over years, but I didn't really think to use it again till now. Using the ATR can basically turn any of our strategies into a 1-to-1 risk to reward. So I did a lot of testing. It works really well. So what I'm going to do for today is I'm going to have the 1-minute chart and the 5-minute chart. I'm going to be looking for entries on both. The only difference is with the 1 minute, you can't really use the ATR because it moves too fast. You have to be really quick using that. So we're going to keep applying the 1 minute like we normally do, but on the 5-minute, it's going to be applied a little differently. So on the 5-minute, you can use multiple entries per momentum, and then it's going to be a 1-to-1 risk to reward. So that's why it's a little easier to take higher risk on the 5-minute because it's a 1-to-1 versus a 1 to 2.5 on the 1 minute. So I'll look for entries on both of these charts, guys, but we'll see what happens for today. So here's the liquidity chart. I'm gonna go ahead and mark up the data over here real quick. So let's go over here to the daily, and I'm going to go ahead and mark up liquidity real quick. Market is going to open up shortly, guys, in about 2 minutes, but it's fine. We're not really looking to take any entries on open anyways. Just want to mark up liquidity here in case there's any liquidity that may be appearing. Let me go on the weekly because the daily doesn't have any zones here. And again, I'm just going to mark up the liquidity that's close to current price. There's no point in marking up liquidity that's super far off. It's just irrelevant. So I'm going to mark up the ones that are up here. And price has been kind of choppy, so see, it's Monday too, so just make sure that when you guys are taking these entries, you want to be a little careful. So if you look at liquidity right here, there's a lot of liquidity right here. I mean, I probably wouldn't mess with it. Not these close level ones, unless like it's really good. Let's go down to the 30-minute. All right, guys, market is now open. So looks like the closest level of liquidity. I mean, there's liquidity on both sides. I'm trying to put this here as well. Closest level of liquidity is going to be up here. We still have a bullish bias, so I mean, we'll see. The cool thing with this too, like I was mentioning with the ATR, you can kind of use the ATR for liquidity too. Like for example, see how price is pushing up right here. It says about like 8 points or 9 points. So like I wouldn't necessarily look to enter this specific candle right here, but say for example, price gets near this upper liquidity right here, right? If price gets near that upper liquidity, then you can expect it to push at least like maybe 8 points. That's how you can kind of identify if it's going to be a fake out or not. So like for example, right here, ATR is currently 9 points. You're probably not gonna get that 100 pips. I mean, you might get it eventually, but not on that like one candle that's going to come up. So there goes the first level of liquidity right there, guys. If you guys are taking it, ATR is now at about 10 points. I'd probably go for 100 pips if you're going for it. It's right there pushing through. Just hit liquidity straight to full TP. I didn't take that trade, so I'm not going to count the trade, of course. It's just a little too risky right here. Mondays, like, so if you guys are not familiar with like Mondays and Fridays are the riskier days to trade. Monday, because a lot of people are re-entering the market. So on Friday, people sold off. Monday, market reopened right now. People are just buying back into the market, especially because the sentiment here is still very high, 77% short. So liquidity there just got hit, not the full liquidity, but 100 pips did get pushed through. You guys got it. That already played through. So nice work, Maria. Maria caught it. Kater said there was news at 5:30. Yeah, we'll take a look at the news as well. Dijon's asking, Sean, how do I purchase YM data on TradingView? You're going to purchase it through your billing settings. So if you go to your billing settings on TradingView, there's going to be an option to add extra market data to your account, and you're going to choose the CME data, CME group. I think it's like $4 a month for the YM data on there. So there goes the liquidity right there, guys. I didn't take the trade. I just wanted to mark it up for you guys. That's the first level of liquidity. One of the first higher levels of liquidity. The red one's going to be low level. So, I mean, we'll see where that pushes through. But anyways, going back over here to the 1 minute, let me go and check the news real quick. So looking over here at the news calendar, see, Kaner said there was news at 5:30. So I don't see news at 5:30 on my chart, Kaner. I see one at 6:45, which is coming up soon. This is another reason why I was being a little careful right now too. We have flash manufacturing PMI and flash services PMI at 6:45. So that's very high impact news coming up shortly. I don't see anything at 5:30. I'll just pull up my other calendar to see if there's anything else that I'm missing. But we do have some very high impact news coming up right here at 6:45. Now, let me check my FX book. It might be on here. Oh yeah, so there was media impact news right here. So this is the one that Keener was referring to, the Chicago Fed National Activity Index. This is why I like looking at both my FX book and Forex Factory, because they don't have all the news events on there. So let me go ahead and mark up the news. Thanks, Keener, for the heads up right there regarding that news event. I don't think there was too much movement based on it, but we're going to mark it up anyways because we want to know where, where some of this. I gotta go to turn on this too. Let's see. We want to know where possible manipulation may be happening. All right, we got that there. And I'm gonna mark up opening price as well right there. All right, so we got that marked up right there. What I'm gonna do next is I'm also gonna mark up the levels over here. Levels are actually easier to mark up here on the 5 minute because they're already spread out by tenths. All right, so price is still pushing up pretty heavy right now. And we'll continue to follow as price moves along here. So our main focus will be the 1 minute, but the 5 minute will be useful too because we can go back and see where this ends up pushing through. Price is pushing up pretty heavy though. Liquidity there just got hit on the next level. The full liquidity here just got hit on the open. Took a while to hit, but it did eventually hit right there. Yeah, we just have news coming up in about 10 minutes, guys. So that's why I'm being a little careful. It's high impact news. It's not something to really mess around with. It's like inflation news. So S&P Global Manufacturing PMI, S&P Global Composite PMI, and Global Services PMI as well. So just high impact inflation news coming up shortly. So you just want to be a little careful with taking the entries at this point. Nice. Talon just said the breakout hit full TP. Solid. So there's a possible entry here setting up on the 5 minute. I'm not going to take the trade because again, it's happening right before news. But I'll mark it up over here and I'll show you guys what I mean about applying the strategy on the 5 minute time frame. So, well, this candle still has a lot of time left on it. This candle's got about 3 minutes left on it. So when this candle does close, it's basically the same strategy as the momentum pullback scalp on the 1 minute. However, you're able to apply it with a 1-to-1 risk forward. I'm not going to take this specific entry because news is going to happen in the next 5 minutes. It's not worth the risk, but I will mark it up to show you guys how the strategy is applied. It's the same thing. It's just, as I mentioned before, guys, whenever you guys are applying the strategies on different time frames, the main thing that changes is your TP stop loss. Sometimes application is slightly changed, but for this here, it's just TP stop loss that's adjusted. And then since it's on a higher time frame, you can take multiple entries per momentum signal. So I'll mark it up if we see the entry. This candle has about 3 minutes left on it, but it's going to be about 5 minutes until the news event. So I probably wouldn't want to take the trade to begin with. All right, so we have a couple people here who took the trades on open. So Kenny over here took the liquidity and Maria. So I'm gonna let this loading up right now. And Natasha. So Natasha over here took the liquidity push. She locked in a total profit of 25 on her personal account. And then she locked in a total profit of 271 on her Top Step account. So nice work right there, Natasha. Great profit off that liquidity push. We've got Maria here. She locked in 290 full TP on that liquidity push. Nice work, Maria. And then we have Kenny over here as well, who took the liquidity push. Total profit of 3,600 for the day. Nice work, Kenny. You took multiple levels of liquidity. It looks like you took part of the breakout as well. So solid work right there, Kenny. Locking in all of those profits this morning. Dejan over here as well, locking a total profit of 1,360 full TP with that green strip. So nice work, Dejan. So it looks like a lot of you guys here did take the liquidity push. I didn't take the trade, so obviously it's not going to count. I'm only counting the trades that I'm personally taking myself, but Looks like a lot of you guys here did take the liquidity push on either one or two levels. Some of you guys took it for the full move, some of you guys took it for partial move, but that is a liquidity push right there on the open. So as you guys can see, the strategy still works very well. It's just I personally don't apply it because I want to save my margin for the momentum pullback scalp. If the liquidity push looks really good, I'll take it. But for today, it was just a little risky. That's why I wasn't personally inclined to take the trade, because it's just not, it just didn't look like a safe entry to me. So for example, right here, guys, again, on the 5 minute, if this here closes above, well, any of these levels really, the level of entry would be at that next 10th, right? So this candle right here has about a minute left on it. I'm not going to take this entry because news is happening so soon in the next 5 minutes, but I'll mark it up for you guys so that you guys can see how I mark it up on the 5 minute here. I'm just going to ignore the 1 minute right now because the 1 minute is not necessarily going to be our focus. Our main focus right now is going to be the 5 minute here, because I'm going to use this as an example. So we have this candle over here closing in the next 30 seconds. So the ATR down below is 19 points right now. So if I was to take this on the 5 minute, I would take it for 19 points, TP stop loss, 1-to-1 risk reward. Again, there's news happening like in the next 5 minutes, so I'm not going to mess with it, but I will mark it up for you guys to see how I would apply this entry here specifically. So we got about 5 minutes or 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, 1, entry be right here. So this is where the entry would be at this level. The ATR right now is currently 18 points. So this is where the entry would be if I was to apply this strategy here on the 5 minute. So I'm not in this position. I just mark it up to show you guys where entry would be. And this is how you can apply it for a 1-to-1 risk reward. It's going to take some practice because you do have to move a little bit quickly, but if you already have a routine set in, it's not that difficult. Like for example, right here, if I was to take this trade, it would have been easy. I would just set the pending limit order right there. And then I would have just set my TP stop loss to the ATR. Also, if you guys are trading on the top step, just set it to 1%. So for example, right here, if I was to take the entry right here at the, say the 70 mark, take profit stop loss, I'd hit risk at 1% right there. It automatically sets my contract size. So right there at 16, max is 15. So you just have to adjust it to 15, but yeah, pretty much just set your risk to 1%. And that's how I would apply it here on the 5 minute. So just so that you guys have an idea of what we plan on setting it up with. But the news is going to happen in about a few minutes, guys. So I'm probably just going to delete this. I'm not in this position. Again, just heads up. We have news coming up right here at 6:45. It's high impact. We've got S&P Global Manufacturing PMI, Composite PMI, and Services PMI. So basically just some very high impact inflation news that's coming up right here. Let's see. So they're forecasting it to be mixed or negative, actually. So all these are forecasted to be negative news. So the trade never filled right here, but if it did fill, you can see where I would have just triggered right here and went straight to TP. But all right, so I just showed you guys the example there of like how I would apply it. Once news passes, we're just gonna wait for the market to stabilize a little bit. Once it stabilizes, then we'll start looking for some entries here. But right now, again, we're just going to be following it as price continues to, you know, obviously move along here. Thinking if I should have separate tabs. So I'm going to see how this works with me using 2 tabs right here. If this is a little too difficult for me to trade, I might just open a second tab over here. I'll just create this tab for the 1 minute, this tab for the 5 minute. But I think this is okay for right now because they're pretty much moving aligned with each other. It's just a couple things here that I would like to remove, like say this session. It's kind of a messy indicator. Or I guess I could leave it up for now. It's not really a big deal. PC is asking, sorry, not been to all the recent sessions. I just talked about this today, PC. So if you want to review the live session, I don't know if you got in late, just review the live session from today. It's the same strategy, it's just different TP stop loss. Yeah, just review the live session later today, PC. I don't have time to explain it right now. So if you want to review it later on, just watch the replay of the live session because we're trading right now. So if you want to ask these questions, guys, wait for these questions during the mentoring sessions. I'm not going to answer any more questions during the live sessions because it's too much of a distraction for me to explain stuff to you guys. So I just wanted to give you guys a little explanation of how like these are applied. I just barely discussed how this 5-minute is applied here earlier today, excuse me. So just check the replay later, and then if we have the mentoring session today, I can go into detail, but no more questions during these live sessions, guys. So if you guys have any questions, I mean, you guys can put them in the chat. I'll answer them later once we're done trading, but I'm not going to answer in the middle of the session because I've missed like too many trades over these past couple months answering questions. So I just want to focus on just trading during these live sessions. All right, so there's no entries right now, guys. Obviously, we have news coming right here at 6:45, so we're going to wait for the market to stabilize after this pushes through, and then we'll start looking for entries. So we got news right here in about 20 seconds. It's very high impact news. We have manufacturing PMI, composite PMI, services PMI. They're all anticipated to be negative, so expect like some manipulation to happen right now in about a few seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Huge spike right there to the downside on the 1 minute. Correction back up. I mean, we're not going to take any trades here anyways. Let's see what the news was like. So actual was manufacturing was positive, services was negative, and composite was negative too. So a bit of a mixed bag right there of movement. Let me go ahead and just mark this up right here as news price. All right, we've got news marked up over here. So I'm going to see how this if I'm able to apply both of the strategies on here, guys. I mean, they're the same strategy. It's just different time frame. I'm going to see how I can apply this strategy on here. If it becomes too much of a hassle for me to go back and forth, then I'm just going to have to choose one or the other, right? I'll have to choose either the 1 minute or the 5 minute. I think I'll be able to look at both, but because they both close at different times, the only problem is when they close on the same candle. So for example, if we get an entry over here on the 5 minute and then it overlaps with the 1 minute, you know, which one takes precedent? I think the 5 minute would always take precedent. The only problem with the 5 minute is that we can't, there's no set TP stop loss for it. So we'll see. I mean, we don't really know until we actually test it out. I'm trying to focus on just one strategy, but we'll see if we can do this on both time frames. All right, 6:46 right now. We'll probably wait a little closer to 7 until we start looking for entry here because we need to wait for the market to stabilize a little bit. Let me see if there's any other news events. I don't think there's anything else for today. There's news at 8:30, but we won't be trading around that time, so it's not relevant to us. Looking over here on Forex Factory, nothing here as well. All right. So let me see the liquidity real quick and see if there's any the other level of liquidity right there got hit too, but it's right at news. Yeah, if you guys are looking for a later entry over here off the next level, it's probably going to retest it later. I just wouldn't have taken it right there because of the news, but price will probably be pushing right back up. Higher. All right. I'm trying to figure out ways to clean up my indicator list over here. There's so much stuff on my chart. We don't really use a V2. I'm gonna take that off. Not on this chart at least, not even the V1 or the SR V1. I'm just gonna take off these indicators that we don't really use anymore just to clean it up. It's too messy on here. Take out volume. We don't really use volume as much. All right, so price is coming back down. It's 650 right now, almost, guys. Closer to 7, we'll start looking for some entries here. So, yeah, price still hasn't pushed up yet. We do have a bullish direction right now. So let's take a look at the overall bias again. So looking over here, let's start off with retail sentiment. Retail sentiment is currently 78% short. This indicates that 78% of retail traders are currently selling right now. So we typically want to do the opposite and buy. So right now we're looking for buys in the long term. We're looking over here at the fundamentals. Fundamentals are currently up 95 points. So they're a bit of a bullish neutral confirmation. So we're looking for a buy today, possibly. Let's take a look at the technicals over here. Everything here is pretty much bullish. So 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, all bullish. 30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, also bullish. Using the trend meter, it's green down below. Price is above the pivots. Trend meter is green. Pivots are angling up. Looks like we have a bullish bias here. So, I mean, for the most part, we need to see a bit of a bullish push, and then we'll look for that retracement next. So for the 5 minute, I need price to push up slightly. I need price to push up, retrace, and continue up. If we get something like that, then we'll look for entry somewhere around there, right? So we'll see what happens here. 650 right now. So we just need price to push up. Same with the 1 minute over here. You can see that the buy signal is way up here. So we need price to push up pretty high, like above this area, before we can start looking for entry, because price is just way too far from it right now. Let me go and mark up some more levels up here. All right, so I have these linked. Whenever I draw something on the 5 minute or the 1 minute, it links into the other time frame. So, like for example, I'm marking up the levels over here. When I mark up the levels on the 5, they come up on the 1 minute. So this is why I think we can apply the strategy on both time frames, because so I can just link the markups. It's easier than having to switch back and forth between the time frames. All right, 651 right now. You guys can see over here on the 5 minute, it's a little more quieter too. The 1 minute is very noisy and there's a lot of stuff going on here. So it's a little more difficult to look for entries versus the 5 minute over here, where the candle closes every 5 minutes. So you don't really have too much going on, looking for entries here. And since this has a 1-to-1 risk reward, it's easier to really manage the trade versus the 1 minute here. So, all right, we need to get that push in the direction. Once we get the push in the direction, we can start looking for entry. But right now, there's just not too much going on. Another thing too that I like about the ATRs is that this will basically tell you if the market's, not really worth entering. If the ATR down here is 15 points or below, so 15 is a bare minimum that I'll look for entries. If there's anything below 15, I'm not going to look for entries, because that just shows you that the market's ranging sideways and it's not really worth the risk. So you can see down here, the ATR says 24, right? If you look over here pre-market, like at 5:30, the ATR was 11. If you look at the number down here, if I scroll over here, ATR was 11. So there's no point in taking entries right here because price is just going sideways. You can see over here during London session, the market was super slow. ATR was about 14, 12, 13, etc. This is like it'll basically tell you whether you should be trading it or not. Because if it's less than 15, you're going to have to cover the spread and you're going to have some sort of movement to hit your TP. So, if you ever look down here at the ATR, just make sure that it's above 15. If it's above 15, great, look for entries because the market's volatile. If it's below 15, then don't even bother because the market's just moving too slow. So right now the ATR is currently 240, it's 240 right now, or 24. This indicates that each candle is going to move about 200 pips. So if you're going for a 100 pip profit or 10-point profit, odds of your TP getting hit is very likely. So that's what we're going to be looking for. But yeah, right now we don't really have much of a direction. We're just waiting for direction to be set. We do have the volatility in the market. We just don't have direction right now. So just a matter of time until we get the opportunity to take entry here. Let's see, Daniel said 1 hour is setting up if we get a push and a buy signal. Nice. Okay, perfect. So with this ATR, you guys can use this for V1 variations too. I'll go more into detail with this stuff, guys, during the mentoring session. So I'll put up a poll today, guys. There's 2 different times that I can hold a mentoring session this week. Let's look at everyone's profits real quick. So Barty over here locked in a total profit of 610 for the day. Nice work, Barty. All wins right there. Looks like he took these buys right here off the liquidity that we took. So nice work right there, Barty. Locking a total profit of 610 for the day. We've got Natasha over here as well. Let's see. Natasha over here locked in a total profit of 377 on her Top Step account. Nice work, Natasha. We've got Dave over here. So Dave has 5 accounts. He locked in the liquidity push. He said push was fire. A total profit of 1360 on his first account. Locked in a total profit of 3374 on his second account. Locked in a total profit of 6330 on his third account. Locked in a total profit of 168.80 cents on his fourth account. And lastly, locked in a total profit of 337.60 cents on his fifth account. Nice work, Dave. So Dave locked in some pretty good profit right there. He took 1 trade liquidity push on all of his accounts, and they all hit CP right there. So looks good. All right, we're just waiting for here to set up. Let me post up the poll, guys. So there's 2 different times that I can set up our mentoring session for today or this week. When to host this week's group mentoring session. Today, Monday, July 24 at 1 p.m. or Tuesday, July 25 at 2 p.m. Pacific. So I'd request for these 2 times. If you guys can vote in the group, that'd be great. And so that you guys can have a heads up when we'll be having our group mentoring session. Yeah, because I think this group mentoring session is going to be important. So I want to make sure everybody who wants to attend can attend. So yeah, if you guys could vote, this is going to be important because this is where I'm going to be discussing this ATR. If you guys can't attend it, or if you guys want to attend it, make sure that you guys are voting because I'm not going to be going over this stuff again. You guys can watch the replay, but I'm not going to be going over it twice. I think I'm going to be cutting down on the mentoring sessions too, guys, because I prefer to just use my time for more testing. I feel like the more I've been testing lately, the more I've been coming up with a lot of stuff that can help our current strategies. So yeah, if you guys want to vote, just vote in there. Make sure that you're voting on the date that you guys can attend. I'll probably set up another time where people can vote, and we'll have one more session where I'll go over this stuff in detail. But I don't want to keep wasting time explaining myself like over and over and over again, right? If you guys want to learn this stuff, I have like thousands of videos on YouTube. So if you guys have like a basic question, just review the videos in the previous mentoring sessions to understand it, because I explain it in so many different ways that that you guys can learn it there, like watching just a couple of videos. Let's see. Let's see, D's asking, can you make it 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. for West Coast people? Yeah, sure, definitely. So not for this week, but we'll schedule the next one. I'll figure out what day. Does a specific day work for you, D? So we'll specifically have that set up for you for next week. So if there's a day that works for you, we can set it up at a later time. Just let me know when. And so I want to make sure that you can attend it. So I try to make accommodations for people who can't make it. Like some people still work regular day jobs. Obviously they can't make it till later. So you can message me later, dear, if you want to put it in here too. Just let me know what day works, and then we'll set it up for 3 or 4 p.m. like you mentioned. All right. Yeah, no problem, D. All right, so price is pushing up right here, guys, on the 5-minute. If price pushes up a little bit higher and then has a retracement, then we can start looking for a possible entry. Same with the 1-minute over here as well. So I'll be looking at both of these. The only difference here is that the 5-minute closes a little later. So our main focus is probably the 1-minute here. And then from there, we'll switch over to the 5, or just go back and forth. I'll see when these close. This candle is going to close in about 40 seconds. So I don't think we're going to have any, well, obviously we're not going to have any entry here because we have no retracement. So our main focus right now would be the 1-minute, of course. All right, so main focus right now is going to be the 1-minute. You can see price is pushing up slightly right here. We need price to slightly push up, and then once it pushes up, we can look for the possible retracement for entry point. But right now, we're waiting for a confirmation here. So we got price pushing up. I need price to actually push up to this point up here. So I need price to push up slightly higher, and then when it retraces down, I'll try to make entry right here, but this candle has to close somewhere above this area, because if we get that retracement, we need some space here for entry. Nice, Daniel. So the 1-hour hit. Perfect. All right. So yeah, the liquidity right there just got hit, guys. If you guys saw earlier, I marked this up. So I said, if you guys want to enter that trade, look for a later entry point. It came up right there. I went straight to TP for the 1-hour liquidity. So if price retraces right here, guys, we have a possible entry on the 1-minute. So I'm going to try to set this up right here. Entry point is going to be at the 20 mark. So we got about 30 seconds left here. If this candle closes in between these 2 black lines right here, then entry point is going to be right here for a buy using the momentum pullback scalp. We got about 10 seconds left. If price closes above, it's going to be a little tough. We're not going to be able to take entry right there, obviously. And it looks like we're not going to get entry here, guys. All right, no entry there. So no entry because we never got that retracement. If the price retraced right there, we would have had entry. Price is starting to move a little crazy right here. You can see how these candles are starting to spike around. I don't think there's any other news today. Let me check real quick. I want to make sure we're not going to be running into any trouble here if there's any other news events. So I don't really see much here causing price to spike around like that. Says Netflix shares could once again hit 500. Yeah, there's not really much going on. It's just price is spiking around right now. So if this is the case, entry will possibly be right here at the 30 mark. So I'm just waiting for the retracement. Does not look like we're going to get another retracement right there. No. So again, no entry, guys. There's still no retracement here. Price is moving around a bit volatile though, so I want to be careful. Okay, so there's no entry yet, guys. You can see price is still pushing up. The problem with this here now is that price is very overextended, right? So let me go and measure this real quick from this low up to here. price is getting to that overextension mark. If you guys are familiar with, how I identify overextension, it's basically whenever price gets past 1,000 pips. Right now, it's getting close to that 1,000 pip mark. So at this point, we want to be a little careful with looking for entries here, because if this is the case, then price is overextended. It's going to have to retrace, right? Even this 5-minute candle, you can see how big it is. It's going to have to retrace at some point. This candle is way too big. So overextension marks can be at the 60. I'm just going to keep that number in mind as price continues to push up higher. If price gets to that point, then I'm probably not going to take its first entry. I'll probably focus here on the 5-minute and look for something over here. So price is now overextended. You can see right there, and you can see it's now pulling back, right? Price got right to that 1,000 pip mark or 100-point mark. And now you can see this big red candle as price starts to retrace down. So I'm going to wait a little bit, let this retrace down a little bit, because I need to wait for it to stabilize again. Price is probably going to be manipulated here a bit because it's been pushing up so heavily. Let's take a look at retail sentiment. Retail sentiment is still at 78% short. So I do think price will continue pushing up higher. It's just going to be a matter of time until it actually, plays through. So we just got to wait, guys. There's no need to force anything right now. It's still early. It's 7:04 right now. So we have a lot of time. If this becomes the case and there's no entry here on the 1-minute, then we're going to focus here on the 5-minute for possible entry. So that's why I like that we can kind of shift between the 1-minute and 5-minute time frame, because if, for example, there's an entry that comes up here on the 1, but we don't take it because price is overextended, we can just switch over to the 5-minute, and this is where our entry will be taken, right? TP stop loss will be a little bit different, but it'll be able to apply whatever we're looking to apply here. So the ATR is currently 26 points. So that's actually not bad. We can still enter with the same TP stop loss, but we can also have a bigger TP as well. So that's a big benefit to applying the 5-minute here. All right. So we got price retracing down over here. Technically, the entry would have been right here, but there's a sell signal that's pending. So technically, the entry would have been here if the price was not overextended, or price was super overextended right there. So I wouldn't have taken the trade there, of course. But yeah, technically, this would be the entry point. This would be the entry for this specific momentum right here. So you can see we had a bullish momentum, price retraced down to this area right here. This is where price pulled back to. The entry be at the next level right here. So this would be the entry for this specific entry here, applying the momentum pullback scalp. Again, I wasn't going to take it because price was overextended, but this would technically be the entry point for it. So I'm not in this position right here. I just marked it up. The thing I'm looking for here is probably going to be the 5-minute for entry, because I think this is not going to be usable for us. I think price may go sideways for a bit. It looks like the ATR is currently 20 points. So the volatility definitely died down a bit in the past couple of moments, but price is retracing hard right here. So that's why we're not looking to take the entry at the moment. So I'm just going to keep following this here, but it looks like our entry might happen right here on the 5-minute. So I'm going to take this off real quick. I'm going to focus on the 5-minute right now, because this right here is not going to be useful for us. So let's just go to the 5-minute here. We still might be able to take some entry here at the 5, because the overextension is on both, but on the 5-minute over here, we have better opportunity for entry. We just got to make sure there's no sell signal that comes up here. If there's a sell signal that comes up, then that's kind of going to, it's kind of going to throw us off a bit. But ATR right now is currently 28. So if that's the case, we can probably go for 28 points. Let's see how this ATR is working over here. All right, so you can see how price is spiking all the way back up. We need this retracement though. So we do need to have some sort of retracement before we can start looking for entry here. We have about a minute left on this candle. So you guys can see over here how the price is kind of spiking back and forth. I mean, if this is the case and price pushes back up, we might even have another opportunity here on the 1 minute. We just need another buy signal. This is where it gets kind of messy, because if there's two entries coming up and they're overlapping over each other, you have to choose one. You have to choose the 5 minute or the 1 minute. I mean, you can take both, but you're going to be over leveraged with your margin. So we're not getting that retracement here. I was hoping this candle would close with at least some red candle, because if it closed with a red candle here, then we'd be able to take entry here. But the 1 minute over here looks like, so now it's starting over. There's a low right here, and we can possibly look for entry here if we get a buy signal. Price push up 1,000 pips, retraced. Now it starts again right here. So if it goes up another 1,000 pips from this point, it's going to be overextended again. All right, I'm probably going to use a 5 minute, guys. If it closes, it needs to close right here though, and it needs to close red. See, the entry point would be at the 30 mark. All right, so I got a pending order right there at the 30 mark. See, the ATR kind of shifted a little bit, so I had to make some adjustments. It's going to be 27 instead of 28. Not a huge difference. So it looks like it's not going to fill. Price went all the way up, so unfortunately it didn't fill right away. If it doesn't fill, I'm just going to cancel it, because we'll have another opportunity here on the 1 minute. Yeah, it looks like it's going straight to TP. Unfortunately, it didn't pull back and hit and fill our order, so it's way too high up now. But you guys can see how like this 5 minute is very lucrative, right? Because typically we go for 100 pips. Over here, we'd be able to go for like 280 pips. So we're basically doubling, if not tripling, our profits. Yeah, price is too far up, guys. I'm probably going to cancel this. So I'm canceling my order. There's going to be another entry that will come up. So you guys can see why I'm a little more leaning towards the 5 minute, because the 5 minute here, we basically are able to multiply our profits. And we're going to have a 1-to-1 risk to reward. So, you know, we're doing 1-to-1 here versus a 1-to-1, 1 to 2.5. Still 78% short. I think this will hit TP, but again, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to enter this. It's just too far out. If we get another retracement, then we may be able to get into the next opportunity here, but it's not looking like it yet. We don't have a buy signal here on the 1 minute yet, so that's not going to be of use to us. This 5 minute trade is still currently up. So there's just a couple of things here that we're looking for. We're looking for the buy signal over here on the 1 minute, and we're also looking for the well, I mean, it wouldn't matter here on the 5. We just have to look for another retracement candle, because this one's already currently running. See, we got some profits over here from Casey. Casey's currently up 2,093 for the day. All wins. Nice work, Casey. And here goes Natasha. Natasha locked in a total profit of 50 on her personal account. And then she locked in a total profit of 449 on her top step account. Nice work, Natasha. All right, so it looks like the TP hit, guys. Unfortunately, we were not filled. So our entry is supposed to be down here. We got the retracement. We're waiting for price to come down, fill our order, and then go straight to TP. Unfortunately, we weren't able to catch that. This would have been a 28-point win. So a very nice win right there. If I took that trade, I would have made 5,400 on my FTMO. So it's all good, man. So you guys can see the power of applying it on the 5. The 1 minute's good. Don't get me wrong. The 1 minute's good, but the 5 minute, you can take a bigger move here. You can take about the same amount of risk, if not less, because their stop loss is already at 2,500. It's just you're going for a bigger TP at this point, so you have better opportunity to like balance out your profits. Win rate's very high on this one too. So win rate's still good on this, but other than that, guys, there's no entry there. So we got to again wait for the next opportunity here. It's just, I mean, price might be overextended again. Let's take a look over here on the 1 minute. So from this low point right here up to here, no, it's got a ways to go. It's only up like about 65 points. So it's not super far out. Again, over here, we're just looking for retracement. I'm going to go and delete these lower levels here because we're not really, I don't think there's going to be any entries down at this point. Let's be focusing on these higher points up here. Let's drag this up there. Yeah, exactly. C6 said 5,000 multiplied by 4 accounts with an incredibly high win rate is well worth the wait. Yeah, exactly, C6. Because the thing is, like, we're waiting for entries here on the 1 minute anyways. So like if we think about it, like the 5 minute, you might have like maybe just 1 entry or maybe even 2 entries. It'll equate to the same thing, but you'll be able to make more profit on the 5 minute here because obvious reasons, right? Sorry, this 5 minutes about to close right here. So if we get a retracement, then okay, perfect. So if we get a retracement right here, then we might have another opportunity for entry. It wouldn't really matter here on the 1 minute because we don't even have a buy signal. So we can't even take entry here if we wanted to. However, here on the 5 minute, we can still continue to ride this wave up as long as we get a retracement candle. So we need a red candle here to come up. Once that red candle comes up, we'll take our entry at whatever the next level is. And then from there, we'll start to look for some entries. But it wouldn't matter here on the 1 because we don't even have a buy signal. So yeah, looking over here on the 5 minutes, currently ATR is 27 points. Same as earlier, hasn't really changed too much. And yeah, I mean, we're just gonna wait. So we got 4 minutes left on this 5 minute candle. This 1 minute candle still hasn't given any buy signal. So I think our main focus might shift back to the 5 minute right now. But you guys can see here where we can still shift between the time frames, right? You don't have to focus on just the 1 minute or just the 5 minute. There's opportunity in both. So we basically are looking for a red candle right here. If we get a red candle or entry right here at the next level at the 40 mark, and that's what we'll be looking for entry. Okay, so the 1 minute over here did get a buy signal. If this is the case, then this is fine too, because we can still look for entries here on the 1 minute. The only problem is that these buy signals are not closing. So we got a pending buy signal here, about 25 seconds left. All right, so we do have a buy signal here. Our entry might come up here on the 1. So let's see. If price pushes up, all right, so we're looking for price to push up. And then we're looking for the retracement. So price pushes up right here and retraces down a little bit. We'll make entry at some point down here. Let me measure this real quick. Yeah, we still have a lot of space here. All right, so now we're looking for the retracement here. Never mind. Take that back. Price retraced right here on this candle. I don't know what's going on right now, but you guys can see how these candles here are like spiking super heavily. Price was way up here. And then the last 2 seconds of this candle, it spiked all the way back down. So obviously I'm not taking any entries down here, but yeah, I'm kind of curious what's causing those big spikes because it spiked down like 20 points. It's a weird market today. it wouldn't really affect us because there was no entries for us, but yeah, Maddie said the ATR is at 30 points. So the volatility is picking up for whatever reason. It's so there's a couple things that can be happening here. I think the main thing is that price is just reacting. It's a late reaction to the news from earlier today at 6:45. I mean, it's only been like, under 20 minutes since the news event passed. So I guess, yeah, there is still late reaction to the news events here, but there's nothing else really causing price to bounce around like that. If that becomes the case, then we might want to sit tight. Like, for example, over here, we need price to actually close above here. Every time price gets above a point where we're looking for retracement, price just ends up retracing on that same candle. So again, right here, we're still looking for entry on the 1 minute. We're looking for price to come down slightly. Like, we need price to close up here. And then once it closes up here, we'll look for that retracement within that area. But price needs to definitely be above this level right here. If not, it's just going to keep ranging. You guys can see the ATR over here on the 1 minute at 17. This is not a good ATR. So your ATR, you want to focus on the ATR here. Like, if you're looking for a ranging price, you want to focus on the 1 minute ATR. The 5 minute ATR is kind of useless when using the ranging. Like, if you're looking if the market's ranging or not, because it's just too far out. All right, so let's go back to the 5 minute over here, because the entry is actually going to set up here on the 5. It's going to be like right there. Let me see if I can set it up. Fuck, I missed the trade already. Let me see if I can still get into it. Already missed it. Already hits it. Where's my pending order at? There's an issue again with crap. Okay, let me see this real quick, guys. I need to log out and log back in, because it shows that my trade is executed, but I don't see it on my screen over here. Or it's not executed, but it's on.
Order fit.
See, where the fuck's my order at? I'm tripping. Where's my order at? Okay, so I'm in the position already, guys. Had the pending order right there. It's about to hit my TP already, it looks like. Or not yet. The ATR is set to, I mean, it was 27 earlier. Man, this thing's kind of annoying. I know you guys talked about this before. I didn't really have the issue before, but now it's like kind of messing with my account, because I saw the text message that said that my pending order was placed. I didn't see it here on my chart, but you guys can see that I'm now in the position right here. So there's a bit of an issue with regard to what's it called, TradeOvate and TradingView. If you guys saw that email, I sent you guys a screenshot of the email yesterday. They gave everybody free resets on their on the accounts, because there was an issue with this here where it just keeps the connectivity where you'll put a pending order, it'll show up and then it'll disappear, and then it'll show back up and then it'll kind of disappear, which kind of throws obviously it throws us off a little bit here, because we want to know when we're in the position, of course. So yeah, that kind of gave me a little scare there, because I don't want to be putting in too many positions and then not know if I'm in the position or not. I know I'm in the position now, but earlier it was kind of throwing me off a bit because of the execution. So let's see. This trade over here was kind of a bad trade in my opinion, because the thing is, I thought this thing closed below. The entry should have been a bit higher, but it's all good. We got in a little lower at this point. But we just got to wait for this to play through. So I'm only taking a 1% risk on this trade. It's not really a big risk. If you guys saw how I put in my order, I put in the ATR, which was 27. And then from there, I set my my risk to 1%. So this trade is just a 1% risk. It's not really a big deal if it plays through or if it doesn't. But I'm testing out this 5 minute here during these live sessions, these live conditions. So looking over here on the 1 minute, I'm not really going to look at the 1 minute here. I'm going to focus here on the 5 because the 1 minute's going to throw us off if we look at that there. Yeah, Maddie said might range sideways and break back up. Yeah, I can see that too. I can see that playing through over here on this. I'm trying to figure out what my thing was set to though. Okay, so it's set to 27. Damn, I can't see what my order is looking like over here. Because I was going to open this up to see where my parameters were set to, but you can't edit the order once it's already in. Because once you're already in the position, it has your pending orders right here already waiting. Okay, so I'm in the position here, 1% risk, not a really big risk. So I'm testing out this 5 minute entry here. It's kind of a hectic entry because of how entry happened. Plus the market movement over here is kind of it's kind of edgy with how it's moving. But I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm going to set for it's basically this strategy is supposed to be taken as a set and forget. So I'm just waiting for it to play through. If we do get an opposite signal, obviously we have to pull out of the position like we normally do. But I'm going to leave it alone and just let it breathe. It's probably going to take a while for it to hit. ATR right now is currently at 26. So the volatility did die down. Initially, the ATR on this entry here is 28. And the volatility is just slowing down quite a bit. So again, right there around that break even. Just going to let it breathe. And then we'll just see where this ends up going. Such a weird market today. If you guys have seen how prices have been moving around, we've been getting a lot of spikes. Overall bias for today is still bullish. You can see over here, fundamentals are currently up 147 points. Looking over here at retail sentiment is currently 78% short. So I do think price will push up eventually. Long-term bias is still bullish. So I think price will push up eventually to the upside, but it's probably going to take some time before it actually, really makes that push up. Looking over here, there's liquidity up top, but I think it already got hit. So I'm not sure if anybody took the liquidity up here. But it looks like it already went through. Yeah. So when it had an initial push right there, it went straight through to TP already. So pretty much all the liquidity this morning has hit already. The first liquidity here on open, second liquidity right here hit, next liquidity. So about 1, 2, 3, 4 levels of liquidity right here hit. I think this, Randy mentioned this was a 4-hour liquidity. And it seems pretty strong. Yeah. So if that's the case, I mean, if price comes back up and retests this area, it's probably going to blast right through, of course. But we'll see what happens. So we're just having a bit of a back and forth movement over here off the 5 minute. The volatility is definitely slowing down a bit, but it's going back and forth. It started at 28, went down to 26. It's now 27. So we just got to give it some time for this here to obviously play through. But again, guys, if you guys are taking a position, this is how I would take it. I would set up my limit order with my entry point. Say, for example, right here, I entered at the 40, right? So I entered at the 40. You put your TP stop loss set right there. You hit your risk. You just put that to 1%, and then it'll automatically put your unit size right there. So that's how many contracts I'm trading. So it kind of does all the work for you. You don't have to really do the math. The only problem with applying this 5 minute strategy is going to be on FTMO. Because on FTMO, you can't automatically plot your lot size, right? Your lot size is going to be different based off what your stop loss is. And you can't just use this tool here where you can put a 1% risk versus, how you do here on TradingView. This is why I prefer TradingView for a lot of new traders or just trading in general, because it's a lot more simplified and it pretty much does all the work for you. All right, so here we go as price continues to climb up. Looking good so far. Let's see. So price pretty much hit liquidity again right there. So that's pretty much what Randy was discussing earlier. He's mentioned like that liquidity looks pretty strong. So if it pushes through there, it's probably going to blast right through up to where it's supposed to go. And that's exactly where it's going right now. All right, full TP on. So let me see. I might have to close this early, guys, because yeah, I'm gonna close it early. Sorry,
Order flip it.
I got to get out of position. I entered this wrong already to begin with, so I'm gonna get out with profit because my FTMO, I forgot to set the TP stop loss. You guys are still in it. You're still deep in profit. So if you guys want to hold on to it, feel free. I just don't feel comfortable because I entered this wrong. Like it wasn't a clean entry for me. It's probably gonna hit full TP, but I already know I screwed up on this position, so I'm gonna pull out that partial TP right there. I just wasn't ready for it. It happened too fast, and it just kind of threw me off. For one, my trade ovate was screwed up here. I didn't even show up on my screen when I entered the order until I heard the order fill button. I was like, okay, I'm actually in the position. And then I entered on my FTMO and I forgot to set my TP stop loss to the proper TP stop loss. So I was at the 25,100. And then over here, I was already in profit like 1,000. That's more than I normally am because I'm usually in profit like about like, I don't know, like 750 around there. So I just pulled out early. If you guys want to hold on to it, feel free. You guys are still deep in profit. So it's way past the 100 pip mark. So if you're going for the 100 pips here, you still would have been past your TP, like way past it. So it's up to you guys if you guys want to hold on to it. We'll keep following it, but I made a mistake on this entry, so I just pulled out. I still made more profit than I normally would off the 1 minute. But you guys can see how lucrative this strategy is if you apply it on the 5 minute, because now it's at a 1% risk versus sometimes you'll be at like a 1.5, 2% risk. And this here is it's just messy. This is just a messy entry for me. And let's see. So I made pretty good profit on that trade. Man, I got a lot of slippage over here. Again, on all my accounts. Well, especially my MFF. I don't know how that happened on my MFF, but I'll show you guys. Right now. So I just screenshot that right there. Nice. Shiv took it as well. So Shiv said I took the trade, hit 85 profit, pulled out early. Yeah, this is probably going to hit full TP, but I'll enter on the next one. Like right now, it's okay. I made a mistake on this one, but on the next one, if it comes up again, I'll enter it and I'll actually hold it to the full move. It's just this right here was like, there was so much going on my charts. James over here caught it as well. So James did nice catch. Sean took the 100 pips and that was good enough for him. Solid. Shiv said he took it on his Top Step account. Does the data come up automatically? So make sure that you have the Top Step account so this is the Top Step application right here, Shiv. If you have this application, it'll come up automatically. So you can see right here, this is what my Top Step looks like. You can see I logged in 975 off that trade. Just one trade, all wins. It filled all of my contracts right there. It took 15 contracts, one trade, full TP, or not full TP, basically full TP. I barely went into drawdown like 68. You can see right here my P&L. So I was down $68, went up 906. So this is basically like a 9-to-1 risk toward entry right here, because I just went in and draw down like $60 and I went into profit 906. So this trade was a really good trade, in my opinion. There was like barely any drawdown. I just pulled out early because chickened out, made some mistakes there. But yeah, just download this application right here, Shiv. It's the TS Trader platform, and you can see the like your current stats for the day. So nice work, guys. If you guys took the trade, great work. It looks like it's gonna hit full TP. So I'm not really gonna regret it. It's all good. It happens. I should have probably made like well over 2,000 off this trade for my Top Step. I only made 975, but it's okay. I'd rather take that and feel comfortable about my profits than to be worried about it. Yeah, exactly. C6 said it's still new, so still logged in. You know what we needed to right here. The ATR is still at 27, so I think this will still hit. With the ATR still high, I think price will still continue pushing up. It's in a slow move right now. It's a lot slower than normal, because typically the movement would be a lot quicker, but it's just a market for today. It's an iffy market. So we'll just keep following it right here. Let me just take screenshots of my profits as well. Pretty sure I got a full TP on that first account, but let me see. No, I didn't. So I got some slippage on this here, but I mean, still hit my TP. I don't think I closed out of it early. All right, so we're still following the entry here, but I'm not in it anymore. I already pulled out the profit. Let's go back to the 1 minute. Let's see if there's any other entries coming up here. So we never got the buy signal here. So we did have a buy signal, but the entry never came through because we were waiting for price to pull up to this area up here, which it never did. So let's have this 5 minute, 1 minute running side by side. There's no entries for us right now. All right, let's see. Yeah, James said not the smoothest entry for me either, but he secured at plus 100 pips. Nice for James. Yeah, I mean, it's, profit's profit, guys, especially if you made the 100 pips on that, that's even better. I mean, anything above 100 pips would be a big plus, but 100 pips is already solid as is. Because that's typically what you would aim for anyways, if you're applying it on the 1 minute over here. Yeah, Sisuk said once you hit it a couple more times, it will create the confidence in the entries, and that's when we will crush it every single time. Yeah, exactly, Sisuk. The 5 minutes going to be, I think this is going to be pretty powerful for us because it's easier to take entries here versus, the 1 minute. Price is just ranging right now, though, so this is not even a good area to be entering trades. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, guys, the ATR here on the 1 minute is more important. See how the ATR is currently 13 right now? This is not a good area to be trading in. You definitely don't want to be trading right now because the ATR is so low. This just means that price is going to be going sideways. This is a risk because if price is going sideways, it's going to be preparing for a breakout, right? Last thing you want to do is be on the wrong side of the breakout. So if you guys are looking to see if the market's good to trade, just look at the 1 minute ATR. And if it's, and you can see the number here, it says 13. If it's below 15, then it's best to just stay out of the market. Unless you're already in a position, your position is probably going to hit. So you can see right here, a 5 minute looks like it's about to hit full TP. But it's not a good time to just enter right now specifically. Yeah, full TP right there, guys. So if you guys held it to the full move, the 5 minute right there hit. So you guys can see the strategy works very, very well. It's just, I got to be a little more prepared for the next entry. This entry was kind of a screw up for me, but it played out perfect right there. And you guys can see we would typically get 100 pips. But for this here on the 5 minute, we would have went for 27 points, which is 270 pips, which is basically more than double what we would normally make off one trade. Yeah, Rashida said that was nice. I know it's nice, right? No drawdown either. So price literally filled and then went straight up. The ATR is like a game changer for us because this ATR can pretty much make every strategy a one-to-one risk reward. Like if you look at a V1 variation, so let me look at the V1 over here, an example. So say for example, right here, the V1s would apply a little differently on the 5 minute, but I'm just going to show you an example of what I was just, talking about. So say, for example, you get a V1 variation right here, right? I know it's not an actual V1 because there's no pending momentum, but I just want to show you guys an example. So see this double body right here. This is a V1 continuation, not a V1 variation, but V1 continuation because we're using entry that happened with momentum. So right here, you can see how price is set up right there. The ATR is currently at 12. Typically, I wouldn't take it because we're looking for something that's above 15. But for example, right here, you have this set to 12 because the V1 variation is also a 1 to 3 risk reward. If you want to do for a 1-to-1, you just look at the ATR down here, 12. You set this to 12, you let the trade run, full TP, right? Super simple. I mean, let me show you guys like an actual good example from like, say, Friday. Like, let's see. Okay, for example, over here on Friday, there's no V1s here, but let's go back to Thursday. There's not really any V1s here, but yeah, if you guys want to go and test it, you can use the V1s. You can basically turn any strategy that we typically apply. Okay, so for example, right here, say for example, this is an intraday scalp, right? Because we have a buy signal right here, 10 years green, ATR is 17, right? So you enter the trade over here for say a pivot scalp or whatever you want to take, intraday scalp. You have an ATR set to 17 right there, 1-to-1, you let trade run, full TP right there. So I'll go over this stuff during the mentoring session, guys. I just want to show you guys an example, but you could basically turn any strategy that we have that was already negative risk reward into a 1-to-1, which is a huge game changer for a lot of you guys here who don't like to apply negative risk reward. Negative risk reward works if you know how to use it, but yeah, I don't know why. Like I've been using ATR for I've been using this like this whole time I've been trading, but I didn't really think to use it to identify what the TP stop loss should be. And it just clicked for me over the weekend. So now I'm sharing it with you guys here. Anyways, let me give you guys a little update here for that trade. So this is it's for 270 pips, full TP on the 5-minute US30 momentum pullback scalp, 270 pips covered on live. Right there. Let me just post my profits up. You guys posted your profits up too, so I'll go over that shortly. So here's mine right there. All right, let me just post up my profits real quick and we'll go over everyone else's profits. We're still looking for entries here, guys, but the market, as you guys can see, it's not really moving too smoothly. It's moving kind of sideways a bit. So I'm going to be a little more selective with the entries that I decide to take here. Of course, MFF can be partial, but it's all good. I wasn't expecting anything less from MFF. Okay, so here's a trade that we took. I just took the screenshot over here so that you guys can see. Whoops. Yeah, basically this is a trade we took right here. The 5-minute momentum pullback scalp. Here are my profits. So here's my main account FTMO locking 1,980. Here's my FTMO number 2 account, total profit of 1,980 as well. Here goes my MFF number 1 account, total profit of 540. Second MFF total profit of 540. My third MFF total profit of 540. And then here goes my top step account, total profit of 975. So same trade taken on all the accounts. It was just on this one over here on FTMO, I took it for 100 pips. I forgot, I didn't get a chance to set my TP to a higher number. Kind of wish I did because I made way more profit, but you know, it's all good. I'll take what I can get. Other than that, let me just post this up over here real quick. All right, now let's take a look at everybody else's profits. Let me go back to the charts real quick. I just want to make sure I'm not missing out on any entries right here. So price hasn't pushed up yet, so there's really no opportunity for entry just yet. I mean, technically, if you really, really wanted to take an entry, the entry could still happen right here. So there's still technically an entry that could have been taken right here. ATR is currently at 27 points. Same thing, it's still at this point, but you can see that the volatility is very low, right? So I probably wouldn't have taken it right here. Because we need some direction. Also, like for one, you need direction of price, and you can see over here that price is just going sideways, right? The first step for the strategy is to confirm direction of price. There's no direction right here. We need price to actually be pushing up, down, etc. But we don't have that right now. So with that said, even though this is technically an entry, if you wanted to take it still, you can see it's still pushing in profit. I wouldn't have taken here because there's no direction of price. So looking back up on 1 minute, no entry here. I mean, we have a pending buy signal, but it's still not going to be useful for us because we need some sort of direction. So we still would need price to push out of this area and continue going up. So, all right, with that said, let's take a look at everybody's profits so far for the day. So we've got, let's see, we've got Casey over here, total profit of 2,523 for the day, all wins. Nice work, Casey. We've got Johnny over here, total profit of 1,143 for the day. Nice work, Johnny. Locking that profit on that trade. We've got Dave over here, total profit of 6,373 on his first account. Total profit of 130 on his second account. Total profit of 1,235 on his third account. Nice work, Dave. Total profit of 617 on his fourth account. and a total profit of 231 on his fifth account. Nice work, Dave. Killed it on all your accounts, really. Yeah, that's crazy. That's a lot of profit. And across 5 accounts, it's pretty solid. Okay, let's keep going down. We have James over here. James locked in a total profit of 1,575. Nice for James. Looks like James here actually let the trade run to its full potential. So James over here let the trade run. He let that go to full TP. Total profit of 1,575. Unfortunately for me, I cut out a little early, but James took it for the full TP and he locked in great profit right there. So nice for James. Let's see, we got Shiv over here. Shiv locked in. This is Shiv's first day here back. So welcome back, Shiv. I know Shiv's been gone for a couple of years actually. Came back, spoke to me over the weekend. Total profit of 75.42 for the day. Nice work, Shiv. Took that one trade that we all took. He cut out early too. But some profit's better than no profit. So great work right there, Shiv. We got Kevin over here. Total profit of 44,000. That's crazy on his US. I'm assuming this is his Hanko account. So crazy profits right there, Kevin. And then this is his other prop firm account, total profit of 2,577, all wins as well. Nice work right there, Kevin. And then here's Kevin's Top Step account. He started his third Top Step account today. He's already funded on 2, total profit of 2,315 for the day. Nice work, Kevin. Yeah, you guys are all killing it. I mean, there was a lot of opportunities here to take trades off the live session. So it looks like a lot of you guys capitalized off my analysis. And you guys just kept entering certain trades. Here's Chow here. Chow locked in a total profit of 1,650 for the day. All wins right there as well. Nice work, Chow. We've got Patricia over here. Patricia said not sure why she has 1 negative on the account. Of course, MFF because she cut the trade early. So on all of Patricia's accounts here, you can see, I'm not the only person that's kind of getting screwed by MFF. She locked in 940 on the first account, 140 on her second account, 864 on her third account, and then on her MFF account here, she locked in a negative 115, which is crazy. I mean, it's all good. It happens, Patricia. I wish there was something we could do about it, but not really. Here's Dejan. Dejan here locked in a total profit of 4,280 for the day. All wins with the green strips. Nice work, Dejan. Dejan said he also bought a Top Step challenge alongside FTMO, and he's going to try it tomorrow. Nice work, John. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Andreas over here, total profit of 545 for the day. Nice work, Andreas. And we have Paul over here. Paul took 3 liquidity pushes, all full TPs, total profit of 2,460 for the day. Nice work, Paul. All right, guys, so you guys killed it. You guys did pretty good today. It's a lot of profits. We've got Andrew over here as well. Andrew locked in a total profit of 2,155 for the day with a profitable trade. Nice work, Andrew. And you guys did pretty good. I'm glad. Pretty good for a Monday, right? You guys did pretty solid. This trade here is still technically running on the 5. We're not in this position because the volatility is too low, as I mentioned earlier. I mean, it's almost 2 full TP, but I'm not going to mess with it. Of course, it's way too late. There's a possible entry right here that's setting up on the 1 minute as well. The only problem is that there's not really much direction, so I wouldn't mess with it. You can see over here that momentum. Oh, whoops, let me fix that. So you can see over here that momentum is right here, right? So the lowest level that you could take entry would be right here, but I wouldn't take it at the lowest level. There just really wasn't a push up. We would need price to push up to here on the 1 minute and then make entry at this point right here, but that just never happened. Dejan said, I see what you mean about how the green strips make you feel. All of a sudden, I want to go skydiving or something. Right, Dejan? So Dejan is talking about the green strips over here. If you guys hit your full TP, Dejan over here, he let a lot of his trades run to full TP, like basically all of them. So it makes you feel like you're like really confident because you let your trades run to full TP. Like you trusted the strategy, you trusted the entry, and then you just let it do what it needed to do, which it hit full TP. So Dejan over here, he's had a problem with cutting his trades early. And lately he's just been running to his full TPs, and you can see it adds up really quickly. He's up 4,280. I think this is probably the most profit I've seen from you in a long time, Dejan. You locked in 4,000 today. Like normally you're like in the 1,000 range. Could you take like one trade and you're done? But today you pretty much let them all run. So yeah, nice work right there, Dejan. All right, we have some more profits over here from Miriam. So Miriam locked in a total profit of 4,021 for the day. Nice work, Miriam. All wins right here. Yeah, so you guys are doing pretty good for a Monday market. I mean, today's market is kind of crazy. Like, if I'm being honest, today's market is kind of crazy. Even on myself, I had to close out my position early because it just, I wasn't feeling the market. This is typical for summer though. So just keep that in mind, guys. We're in the summer market. So the volatility right now is meant to be low. If you look over here at the ATR again on the 1 minute, it's at 10 points. So as I mentioned before, guys, if it's below 15, I'm probably not going to mess with it. You can see over here that the ATR has been kind of low pretty much all day. Our entry that happened earlier, we entered like over here, right? ATR was at like 18. So it was okay for us to take entry at that point. But right now it's kind of messy. Oh, there you go, full TP. So if you guys took this one right here, I marked it up for you guys. So price pushed up right here on this candle. It retraced right here. Entry would have happened right here, which is why I marked the entry point, and then price went straight to full TP. ATR at that time was 28 or 27, whatever it may be. And you can see that it did hit full TP right there. Shib's asking, are we doing the mentoring session today? Let me see what everyone voted for. Yeah, okay, so we got 27 votes over here. Majority of you guys voted for the mentoring session today at 1 p.m. So we're going to have it about an hour early than usual. Usually we have it at 2 p.m. Shiv, but today we're going to have it at 1 p.m. Pacific time. So if you want to attend the mentoring session, I'll be having it today. We'll go over this stuff in detail. I'll go over some more examples to show you guys. And just come with questions, guys, because the more questions you guys have, the more that we can cover. So I'll go over this 5-minute variation of the strategy. I mean, it's basically the same thing. It's just a little, it's a little slightly different. TP stop loss is different, and entry points are a little different too. So the thing that I like about the 5-minute is that the momentum signals don't come up as often. So looking over here on the 1 minute, you can see that we have a bunch of momentum signals that come up, right? There's about like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we can only take like one entry per momentum. On the 5-minute over here, you can have a whole momentum signal just running for the entire session. So for example, over here at 5:25 or 5:30, we had a buy signal, and we pretty much rode this buy signal for the entire live session today, right? We just took the entries that came up. So I think that the 5-minute kind of, it brings a bit more structure to our entries here, because the 1 minute is kind of messy. The 1 minute works and you do get a lot of entries on here and you can make a lot of profit on it. But the problem is that there's just too many momentum signals. So we only take one per momentum on the 1 minute, and on the 5-minute, we can take multiple entries per one momentum signal. So, I mean, we'll talk about this during the mentoring session later today. And I'll go over this stuff in detail, but it's pretty much the same strategy. The only difference is entry point and TP stop loss. I think the 5-minute here would be a lot more safe because the win rate's so high, and you're doing a 1-to-1 risk reward where, you can lock in a lot of profit off this here, especially on the 5, because we're only looking for like 1 or 2 entries on the 1 minute anyways. I think the 5-minute here, you're going to have higher quality entries on the higher time frames. So yeah. All right, guys, if there's any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. If you guys have more profit to post up, feel free to send them in the chat as well. And then I'll add them here. Otherwise, it looks like we're going to wrap this up soon, guys. I didn't even know where the time went. It's currently 7:52 right now. So we're about to hit our 8 o'clock mark where we're done with the session for the day. So, all right, guys, if there's any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I don't think we're going to get any entries from now until 8 o'clock. I mean, technically, there might be one over here on the 5. It has 2 minutes left on it. TRS 26. It's a little overextended though. So I think someone asked about how can we identify if the 5-minute is overextended. I typically would still use the same measurement. I use either I go between 1,000 and 2,000 depending on like how far it is. Like for example, if it goes 1,000 and it hasn't retraced yet. So for example, right here, see how price pushed up to 1,000 pips? it already retraced around this area. So I would still use the same parameters because we're not really trading on that much higher of a time frame. It's just 5 minute. So I'll typically go between like 1,000 to 1,500 to 2,000. Just you got to depend on it depends on how the market's moving. So for example, over here, price. So we had price retrace a little bit for 1,000 right there, right? This is like normal overextension. Price kind of retraced a little bit. Now price is at 1,500. Now this is where the real retracement is going to happen, right? There's no other lows between this point. And it's harder to identify on the 5 minute, so I'd probably just use the 1 minute. So like, for example, here, I would just identify where the overextension is off the 1 minute. Because the 5 minute here, this thing could go on forever. But on the 1 minute over here, you can establish from the low. So for example, this low point, this is where I would set up to see if it's overextended or not. Damn, so the entry just filled right here. I don't know if you guys saw that. This is the entry that I marked up over here. The trade filled the order and then went straight to profit. I'm not in this position, but this is the thing that I just marked up right here. So price pushed up. We had a retracement right here. Entry would have been at this level. ATR was set at 27. So the trade's currently running. It's halfway to full TP right now. It's probably going to hit its TP. But obviously, I'm not going to count this trade. I'm only going to count the ones that I take. And I think with us trading at a 1-to-1 with a 1% risk is going to be easier for me to calculate profits now. Yeah, Gian said the 1 minute hit too. Yeah, the 1 minute is super messy though. Yeah, Gian said didn't take it, but it went for 100 pips. Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Randy said took an L today, trying to trade in a range. We'll come back tomorrow better. Should have left the trade running, never hit stop loss, ended up hitting TP. Yeah, if that's the case, Randy, like if so Randy said that he pulled out of the position early, unfortunately, and then he just ended up taking a loss. But if he just let it run, it would have hit TP. So here's the thing, Randy. If you're in a position and all the criteria is met, just let the trade run, right? Because it's supposed to do what it needs to do. Even if price goes into a range, you have to just let it, like, you need to let it go to either TP or stop loss. Because if you had the setup and everything lined up properly, odds of it hitting your TP is very likely. So yeah, I mean, it's all good and you learn from it. But as long as the criteria is met, then you'll be fine with identifying, where the trade's going to go. Like, for example, if you have a buy entry here, like for example, right here, price is still running, or was it 5 minute? So we have an entry over here that's currently running right now, right? Price is ranging, but the criteria was met. Price pushed up, retraced right here, entry happened right here. It's still running. If everything lines up and your requirements are met, just let the trade run. It's probably going to take forever for it to hit TP, but it's probably going to hit TP because I've already tested the strategy, so I know the strategy works. So just keep that in mind in the future, Andy. But it's all good. You learn from it. Nathan over here, he says he's going to take that 1 hour trade at 8 if the requirements are met. Yeah, so Nathan's currently up right now, 820 for the day. He had one loss right here at 635. And he made it right back. So Nathan's thinking about taking the 1 hour entry at 8 o'clock. And this 5 minute strategy hits. This is the third one that hit today. We only took one, the first one here, but there was 3 that came up today. So there's one right here, this one over here, and this one over here. If you took all 3, you'd be up 3% already for the day. So basically halfway done with your challenge. If you're on the top step. Johnny and Zachary are asking, how do you get the ATR? You just add the indicator to your chart, guys. So if you go to indicator list, type in ATR, it's a built-in indicator for technicals. It's a trading view indicator. It's called average true range. Once you click on that, it'll come up on the bottom. So it's the red number right here. Just don't mess with it. So just leave it as is, set, normal settings. And that's where you can get the ATR. So full TP again right here on the 5 minute strategy, guys. We have 3 back-to-back 5 minute entries that hit. So this is what I was talking about, how like this here is it's a little less hectic than the 1 minute, right? Because the 1 minute over here, this thing is all over the place. It's like up, down, left, right, whatever. But the 5 minute over here is a lot smoother. You just wait for the entry and it fills. Yeah, James said full TP, almost took it. Yeah, it's all good. And don't worry, guys, if you guys missed any entries today, I'm gonna keep doing this. Like, this is gonna be one of our staples. I mean, the 1 minute is already our staple, but the 5 minute works hand in hand with it. So it might not be as great right now because we're in the summer, but as we get closer to the fall season, the volatility is going to pick up. So it's going to be a lot easier for us to take these entries. And again, right there, full TP with like literally no drawdown. Price filled and it went straight up. Kind of wish I took it, but it's all good. It's barely Monday. We have a whole week ahead of us. So I'm not really tripping too much. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. It's 8 o'clock. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, looks like we'll be having our mentoring session later today at 1 p.m. So if you guys want to come back in about 5-6 hours, I'll be back here and we'll be covering the strategy again later in detail. Gian over here with some profits, total profit of 2,060 for the day. Nice work, Gian. Yeah, Gian said didn't take the 5 minute. He FOMO'd, closed his laptop before he does anything stupid. Yeah, definitely Gian. So nice work right there. Johnny over here as well took the trade off. He took this last trade that just came up. Johnny logged in a total profit of 2,041 for the day. Nice work, Johnny. Yeah, you guys are doing great. It's great for a Monday. And we got a couple more days to go. So here's Sisuk as well. Sisuk total profit of 3,850 on his first account, all wins. Here is Sisuk's second account, total profit of 3,400 here as well, all wins. And here goes Sisuk's third account, total profit of 4,550 for the day, all wins here. So, all right, guys, I think that's about it for today. If you guys are going to attend the mentoring session later today, it's going to be at 1 o'clock. So if anything, I'll see you guys then. If not, I will see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session. So, all right, guys, we'll see you guys then. I'll catch you guys in a few hours.